welcome back. As you all know, in the last lecture, we learned what API is and how to use it. In this lecture, we are going to learn our next type of API, which is Worker API. Let us see the agenda of this lecture. First, we will see what exactly a web worker API is, then code to check web browser support. After that, we will create a JS file that is really important to web worker API example. Then we will see the example of web worker API. So what are we waiting for? Let us get started. What exactly is a web worker? A web worker is a JavaScript running in the background without affecting the performance of the page. When executing scripts on an HTML page, the page becomes unresponsive until the script is finished. A web worker is a JavaScript that runs in the background independently of other scripts without affecting the performance of the page. You can continue to do whatever you are doing, clicking, selecting things, etc., while the web worker runs in the background. Let us see the code to check if the browser supports the web worker API or not. Here it is on your screen. Now let us create our web worker in an external JavaScript file. Have a look. Here we create a script that counts. The important part of the code above is the post message method, which is used to post a message back to the HTML page. Now let us get into the example of web worker API. I know that the code looks a bit complex, but don't worry, I will break it down for you. As you know, we already have created the demo worker JS. We need to call it from an HTML page. These lines check if the worker already exists. If not, it creates a new web worker object and runs the code in demoworkers.js. Then we can send and receive messages from the web worker and an onMessage event listener to the web worker. When the web worker posts a message, the code within the event listener is executed. The data from the web worker is stored in event data. When a web worker object is created, it will continue to listen for messages even after the external script is finished until it is terminated. To terminate a web worker and free browser computer resources, use the terminate method, w.terminate. If you set the worker variable to undefined after it has been terminated, you can reuse the code. W equal to undefined. Let us see the output. When we click on the Start Worker button, it starts. When we click on the Stop Worker button, then it stops. And that is how a web worker works. Normally, web workers are not used for such simple scripts, but for more CPU-intensive tasks. In the previous lecture, we learned the web worker API. In this lecture, we are going to learn about web storage API. But before we get started, let us quickly see the agenda. First of all, we will learn about the storage API. Then we will move forward to learn about local storage objects and their methods with examples. So what is storage API? Well, the web storage API is a simple syntax for storing and retrieving data in the browser. It is very easy to use. It provides us with local storage object. The local storage object provides access to a local storage for a particular website. It allows you to store, read, add, modify, and delete data items for that domain. The data is stored with no expiration date and it will not be deleted when the browser is closed. The data will be available for days, weeks, and even years. Local storage object has two methods. setItem method. The local storage.setItem method stores a data item in a storage. It takes a name and a value as parameters. Next is getItem method. The local storage.getItem method retrieves a data item from the storage. It takes a name as a parameter. Now, let us see an example of these two methods. In this example, we are storing the data item name in the storage with the help of the setItem method. And we are getting that name with the help of the getItem method. And then we are displaying it. It's really that simple. Now let us see the output. Great. So John Doe is the correct output. Well, on that note, we have reached the end of this lecture. And I really cannot wait to meet you all guys again in the next lesson. So till then, stay connected and stay safe.